Alright, I'm glad you made it to this video because this is something that you really need to hear before it's too late. You know, when you've spent so much time searching, thinking, trying to find the thing that suits you and that you want to do the most, and it just clicks and you find something that you absolutely love and you want to do, you really want to make that successful, and as soon as, or maybe like when you start doing it a little bit, you feel like you're trying everything but nothing is working, and you kind of feel like it doesn't work for you anymore. You just kind of want to quit. That's the feeling we're talking about today, guys. So, this feeling, first of all, it can be like very depressing because you know you've spent so much time looking for something that suits you, that you really want to do, and then the kind of harsh reality comes and it just kind of ruins everything. You just want to quit. It can be depressing. It's understandable. I've been through that a lot, trust me. And you know, all these successful people, famous people you see today, they've all been through this feeling before. And that feeling right there is what I sometimes like to call the breaking point. And what I mean by that is you are kind of in this little bubble. Like, inside of this bubble, you started from zero, and like you can peacefully grow until you reach the walls of the bubble. And from that point on, if you want to progress even further, you have to break through the bubble. You have to break through the wall, and that's why I call it the breaking point. Why most people feel like quitting is because before the wall, you didn't have any obstacles, right? You could just progress peacefully and smoothly. But when you reach the wall of that bubble, suddenly an obstacle shows up. Not only do you have to improve and progress, but you also have to break through that obstacle. And this is pretty inevitable. Everybody, like anything you do, you will realize this, and you will get it sometime, later, sooner or later, depending on how fast you progress and how hard you work. But most people just quit when they get to that wall, not realizing how close they were to bringing their life to a whole nother level. And for me personally, I have two methods of breaking through that bubble. So, the first method is just keep working really hard, like work extra hard for like a period of time, and you'll feel like you have to just keep on working, you know, just work harder and harder. That's one way of breaking through, and it can be pretty brutal sometimes. And a second way, which for me works, and you know, nobody else in this world says this, but I discovered it myself and it works for myself, you can try it too, is that once you reach this bubble, you take a break from it. You take a break from your work, just not a long break. It works with like, you know, a couple days, you know, and you go out, do like, just, you know, live casually. Go out in nature, do some things you like to do, and then come back. What this will do, sometimes you have to take longer breaks, sometimes shorter, but never take too long. If you're noticing that your break is taking too long, that means you have not reached the bubble, or you should just go back to hard work. Because this is a very dangerous method I'm talking about here, so you should be careful whether or not to use it. It's the much safer way of going through the bubble is through hard work, which I recommend you doing on your first few bubbles. Because you see, once you get out there further in life, you will notice that these bubbles keep showing up like pretty frequently. For me, it's about like a bubble shows up like every 2-3 months, like that. So I have to break through every 2-3 months. And once you get further in life, you'll get better and better, and you'll like start realizing and developing your own methods. But for me, sometimes, like, or most of the times, I just take a short break, and what you'll notice after the break is sometimes that you'll start seeing things from outside the bubble, because when you're inside the bubble, everything you do, everything you live inside the bubble, right? You don't see outside. But after a break, you kind of like make yourself more objective in a way that makes you look into the bubble from outside. And that's very, like, it's an instant way to break through. But be careful with this method. It doesn't always work, but if you notice that your break is taking too long, just get back to work. Work is the safest way. And why I do this, because, you know, I think I've come pretty far. I've experienced a lot, and I know what I'm doing. So if you want, you can try this. Like, if you just reach your bubble, like your first time, I would recommend just keep on working harder and harder. Like, go extra hard on yourself for a period, and then go a little lighter. Like, go back to your normal working cycle, and you'll break through pretty easily the first time. But as you progress, you'll notice like these bubbles keep showing up. You can't be going too hard on yourself like every time, because that, like, you have to have a balance, right? So sometimes I recommend you to just take a small break, you know? Every champion, every artist, every leader, they've all come to this moment. But what separated them from the crowd was that they stayed one day longer, they took one more step, and they believed in a version of themselves that hadn't even shown up yet. And that one belief, it made all the difference. If you're thinking about giving up right now, don't. Rest if you have to, cry if you need to, scream if it helps, but don't you dare quit, because your success might just be around the corner, and you deserve to see it. Alright guys, if this was something you needed to hear today, thank God, man, and you're welcome. And if anything else, let me know in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with somebody you believe in. And as always, stay strong, stay on track, stay hard, and peace.